What's your name?
Hey there, my name's E.G. Daly.
What do you do?
I do all kinds of things. I am an actress, I am a singer, I'm a songwriter, I'm a producer, I am a video maker, and I'm an animal lover and animal activist.
Don't you do voiceovers too?
Yeah, that's right. How could I forget? And I do voiceovers, many and many.
How did you get into the industry, and what kind of jobs did you get in the beginning?
I got into the industry when I was about 8, and I had a commercial agent, and I started going on auditions. But I didn't start working at all during when I was young. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to act. I didn't understand any of the mechanism of the whole that whole world. Um, and um, and it wasn't until I graduated high school when I started actually going on auditions and I started booking things. And it was just because I had really applied myself to learning. I got good in school. I took classes, and then when I got out of high school, I was ready and I actually had some skills down and I started working. I don't know if I
Uh,
answered that question, did I?
I think so. What were some of your first jobs?
So some of my first jobs were like the first thing was like a guest star on Laverne and Shirley. I was the leader of the Angora Debs, and that was pretty exciting because it was in that whole during that whole Happy Days time period. So it was very exciting. I was 15 years old, and then I booked a job on like the series Friends. I had a recurring role on the series Friends, and then I just continued to do um, some other TV shows like Chips and Fame, and that was the beginning. And then I started doing feature films right when I graduated high school. Yeah.
Just I have to ask, what were some of your biggest feature films?
Some of my biggest feature films. Well, I did one that not everybody would think is big nowadays, but it was called The Escape Artist, and it was really cool. And it was with Desi Arnaz Sr. and Raul Julia and Griffin O'Neill. It was directed by. It was done by the Francis Ford Coppola production company. It was a really cool movie. That was one of my first ones. Then I did Pee Wee's Big Adventure and Valley Girl and Dogfight and Dutch, and it just started spiraling from there. Yeah.
Is acting as scary as people say?
Yes, acting can be very scary sometimes. If you don't have your skills down, if you're not really, you haven't applied yourself to being good at your craft, you can feel terribly insecure. So, my desire was to be very confident in whatever I did, to make sure that I really learned the craft and really learned how to act because I hated so much feeling insecure that I just wanted to go to any lengths to make sure that I didn't have that feeling, even though it's normal to feel insecure and fragile and self conscious. To me, um, not having enough skill made it worse. So for me, I applied myself to being the best at whatever I was doing, the best singer, the best at my parts. I would work on them really hard and really study and research because I just didn't want to get into that place where I was feeling inadequate and insecure. So um, I'm a big believer in studying and learning and working your role out and working with others. Yeah.
Is it difficult to get into character for an acting job?
Getting into character for an acting job is actually really fun. Um, I don't think it's difficult at all. I think if anything, I just think it's a really fun, um, it's really exciting getting to morph and transform. And, it gets boring being the same all the time. And I really like changing it up. I like changing my voice and I like changing my role and I like being somebody that I'm not every day. So I find it to be really fun and I love changing my wardrobe and my face and my makeup and my hair. So I like to do character roles because it's like dressing up. It never ends. You can be anything at any time.
This next question may be what you just answered to.
Yeah.
What is your favorite part about acting?
My favorite part about acting is the transforming of oneself, like turning from me to sex head, getting to be like, go from me to this little kind of crazy evil clown murderer basically, or getting to be go from me to like this kind of like, like in Valley Girl, I played this kind of surfery Valley Girl, party girl. I mean, there's just something about finding those parts in yourself and then becoming something wider than yourself. It's just you're constantly expanding yourself. It's pretty cool.
What pointers could you give to someone to help them succeed in the acting business?
I would say pointers for acting is make sure to study. I was determined to study with everyone. I studied with everyone that I could. Anytime I heard someone was a great teacher, I studied with them because I wanted to learn different techniques, different styles, different perspectives of what made a good actor. So I studied a place called Peggy Fury's The Loft Studio, and that was with Sean Penn, Nick Cage, Daphne Zuniga, Meg Ryan, Meg Tilly, Michelle Pfeiffer, Crispin Glover, Chris Penn. It was Nicolas Cage, I think I might have said already, but it was such an incredible group of this is when we were all just starting. But they were a great teacher team. It was Peggy Fury and Bill Traylor. They were a couple, and a lot of us got started there. And then you'd move on. Then you'd study at the Strasberg Institute, and then you'd study. I studied with Milton Katselas, and then Robert F. Lyons, and I studied at Playhouse West, which is really good Meisner technique. So I was just determined to learn everything I could, like a sponge. And I think it really worked because not only did it work for my acting, but it actually worked for me as a human being, my awareness of things, my understanding of things. So I just likes to learn. I love learning things. So yeah.
I think that's it, unless you want to add anything else.
It's COVID. It's a new world. Anyway, what do I want to add? I just think to make sure to always have fun and to not take things too seriously and to really enjoy your life at the same time you're doing your work, because sometimes people can just get so blindsided and one-tracked about work, and really your work is better when you're living your life. That was one of the best lessons, was that my work was better when I was enjoying my life more, when I wasn't just being so focused only on my work. It's good to focus. There's times when there's focus, but it's really important to enjoy your life and to have experiences in your life, because that affects all your work. So you can't really be a great actor if you don't have a lot of life experiences. So it's important to keep expanding your journey personally, internally, externally, so that it will all be part of this whole canvas of who you are.
Perfect.
Good, right?